So yes, there we are. The cherry has been put on top and there's no more debate left to be had. It was a very interesting event actually, and I'm going to give it a good rummaging for you now, so there's nowhere else to start. Never mind Usyk completing the heavyweight division, never mind Itauma making waves or Johnny Fisher's controversial decision. Instead, I want to start with Dennis McCann. Oh yes, the old menace went and upset a very good card with an adverse finding, yet another failed drug test to put a dampener on the sport. And have a little look, here he is, Dr. Usman's made another fucking spectacular appearance. Bloody hell, yes, he's once again left his skid marks all over another cheating scandal. So for the love of boxing, please, someone in power, do us all a favour and ban this absolute plug socket from the sport before he ends up severely hurting someone. And yes, Dennis, me old mate, unfortunately for you, we've had Conor Benn, Dillian White, Amir Khan, Canelo Garcia, Fury Valdez, Big Titty Miller, Luis Ortiz, Alicia Bum in the back garden, just to name a few, all tell us how innocent they are after failing a drug test, and we've heard every excuse in the book. In a nutshell, us fans just ain't gonna have it anymore. They've all cried wolf and the ship has sailed, so I'm sorry to say it, bruv, but basically you're fucked. Take the ban, we'll see you in a couple of years anyway. Yes, on to the good stuff. Let's talk about the highlights, shall we? So Fisher Allen first, well, a little bit controversial, a little bit old on a fucking minute. Yes, there were some boos when the winner was read out, and old Spencer and the Gad certainly disagreed.
Johnny the Robert Bull Fisher!
Well, hoots of derision from
Not
the crowd.
surprisingly, Mr. John Rawling, that is a disgraceful decision. There's no way that the first 4 rounds were Johnny Fisher's. The 5th round was clearly a 10-8, and then after that, Dave Allen did the better work in almost every round. I do not see those scores being fair, I'm afraid.
Listen, them scores are diabolical.
There we are, but then old Big John ran to his boy's rescue.
So for you to say it was a robbery and disgusting,
I said
Gareth,
I thought
Gareth, you was welcome in my house before. You'll never be welcome in my house again because I think you acted like a complete and utter disgrace. All right, and I'll tell you to your face because I'm a man. I'm not holding back. Anyone can say they think Dave won the fight.
Yeah.
Dave's team themselves said it wasn't a robbery, and you're shouting out things like that. I've lost all respect for you. People used to tell me, don't respect Gareth Davis. I've said no,
well, that's
all
fine.
right.
That's fine.
Totally lost all respect.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, you go and have your dinner and we'll get on with the interview. Thanks, John.
Never come and see me again and
Thank
never
you.
ask for my advice in anything
Thank
ever
you.
again.
I don't need your advice. Thank you
do,
much.
sir. You do, because you have not got a clue. And when I see you, I'll tell you. All right?
That's it. You've told me now.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Bush.
Merry Christmas to you, Gad.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I don't want Big John after me, so yeah, I thought Johnny won by fucking miles. I don't know what all you mugs are talking about scoring it for Dave. No, I'm joking. Personally, I felt it was Johnny for the first 3, but then a relatively clean sweep for Dave after that, including a knockdown, so it was a Dave win for me by a couple of rounds at least, but a bloody good fun fight though. I mean, it did get a bit mad at stages though. Johnny tried pulling Dave's shorts down at one point, don't know what's going on there, and then he gave a little tribute to Fury by trying to knock himself fucking spark out. There we are. But anyway, all said and done, it was a little bit controversial, but fair play to these men. Massive nuts on the pair of them, no quit, all heart, and I bloody enjoyed it. Roll this little ditty back in the copper bosh as a main event, and let's settle the score. Love it. And then how's about Moses Itauma? Well, it's official, we've got a new superstar on our hands. Okay, some of you may go, hold on a minute, it was only Dempsey McKean, but no, come on. Dempsey is a very solid fighter who took a top 10 Hrgovic nearly all the way. I actually predicted in the build-up that this fight would go quite long, so yes, I fucked that one up, didn't I? But you know, it just shows how good Moses actually is. However, what do you do now with him, eh? Do you take the leap and go balls deep around world level, or do you step him up gradually? It's a bit of a tricky one, really. Apparently, he's been ordered to face David Adelaide next. I mean, big up David, but I've got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that fight for him. So if it ain't David and we do go on the basis that he steps up another level, but not quite to world level yet, then I think there is one absolutely perfect opponent for him. Big Titty Miller. As much as we can all agree he shouldn't be in the sport, either way, he's strong, he's tough, he gave Daniel Dubious and Ruiz a lot of rounds, so he may be the perfect gatekeeper to see if Itauma's really ready for the big boys. Plus, on top of that, he's a fucking mouthy bastard, so the build-up could be tasty. Bring it on. Let me know who you think Moses should fight below, but now let's park all that and talk about the main event, baby. Oh, yes. So there's nowhere else to start. How high were his fucking shorts? What a liberty. What, was he using them as a fucking scarf? And then then the great big beard, bloody hell. Okay, it's not illegal as such, but let's be honest here, old Lukey boy was trying every little trick in the book, weren't he? Yes, of course, the beard wouldn't be able to cushion punches, but come on, he didn't grow it because he was making a fucking fashion statement, did he? It was obviously to add some sort of edge, maybe disguise his jawline, hide the chin a little bit, I don't know. But yes, ultimately, it didn't work, of course, because this man is simply a different breed. Now, I've got to give Fury his credit. I thought he was fucking blinded, to be honest. I felt like he was a little bit scared of pulling the trigger for fear of getting countered, but other than that, he looked solid, he boxed well, and this version certainly beats most heavyweights on the planet today. But sadly for him, it just don't ever beat Usyk. And a few of the Fury polishers just can't accept that Usyk is superior, unfortunately. I mean, I saw Frank Warren at the bus stop this week, he was still holding the fucking scorecards. And then old Simon Jordan, this was his reason for Fury losing.
It was when I watched him walk in the ring that I suddenly thought, and then I wanted that stare, and I wanted that intensity, that maniacal look, and it wasn't there. He tried it.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
He put his big gleams on, but it weren't there.
Yeah, so there you go. He didn't stare hard enough. He should have had a more intense stare. That's why he lost. Fuck me. Anyway, let's just accept that Fury ain't, possibly never was, and never will be as good as Usyk. And that's the end of it. But I'm not digging him out for that, by the way. There's no shame in that. It's the same for AJ, Dubious, Chisora, and everyone else he's fought. That's just the way it is. But old Lukey boy just still can't give him the credit, though, can he?
I didn't feel no spirit. I felt a little bit of Christmas spirit in there, and I think he got a little Christmas gift from them judges.
And 24 rounds of Usyk, did you rate him as the best you faced?
Not really, to be fair. In that fight there, never hurt me once.
I bossed the fight in front foot all night, I worked the front all. I tell you what, you're not getting nothing in these countries.
So anyway, yes, I said I reckon Usyk would win again, but I also said pre-fight that Fury's got to rough him up, make it a living hell in there for the man with a 4-stone weight disadvantage, and he may have a lot of success. But yes, what am I on about? I was just talking bollocks again. You just can't rough this man up or manhandle him. He's too slippery, as Fabio Wardley said. You try clinch him and then all of a sudden he's behind you and it's like, well, how the fucking hell did he get there? And once again, the Fury gas tank was absolutely superb, even with the weight gain. I just don't know how he does it. The man is incredible. But Usyk's gas tank is unmatched and a level above. His tank almost seems to be unlimited over a 12-round period, whereas Fury does have to be conscious about getting seriously tired. So ultimately he can't produce the same aggression and work rate as the Rabbit, and every single time they fought, unless Fury really did hurt him, which is another big ask because his chin is unreal on top of everything else. But yes, assuming it always went 12 rounds, then it would probably be the same outcome every single time. Again, not because Fury's bad, but because Usyk is phenomenal. And talking of them two fighting anymore, no fucking thank you, bruv. Please don't do it again. It's completely done, absolutely conclusive, just like the AJ fights. So let's just move on, shall we? And oh yeah, Daniel Dubious getting all up in his grill. You need to wind your neck in, Danny boy. You ain't beat Parker yet, bruv. Man's on a premature thing, you know. That's a serious fight and you shouldn't be thinking about anything else. Do you know what I mean? But then we come to the big debate, don't we? So now we know that Usyk is the king of this generation, but the big question is, do we put Fury as number 2? And well, in my pointless opinion, I'd say if they all stop now, then yes, Fury is officially number 2, but that to me just wouldn't be fair and it wouldn't be a true reflection. So I've got to say no, and let me explain why. You see, this is now a glorious time for boxing because a few years back when Wilder, Fury and AJ were all haggling over the belts, the heavyweight division was just a bit fucking painful, weren't it? You had Wilder and AJ who couldn't organise a spliff in Amsterdam. You had Fury after beating Wilder, then cherry picking fights against Ngannou and Chisora, then saying how he didn't need to fight other heavyweights because he's too good for them. And in a nutshell, the top dogs weren't fighting the top dogs in order to determine who actually is the top dog. But now with Usyk at the top of the tree, for the first time in many years, we've got a heavyweight king who's willing to fight anyone put in front of him anytime with no bullshit attached. In regards to Tyson Fury, I would never call him a fraud because he's not that at all. He is ultimately a superb fighter. His wins over Klitschko were brilliant and his wins over Wilder were brilliant at the time as well. Even though, like it or lump it, they don't look as good now after Parker and Zhang basically did the same thing. But the problem is after that, I'm sorry to say, it gets a bit slim, don't isn't it? What we got? Chisora, White, Wallin. A lot of people thought he lost to Ngannou, so is that really enough to be considered above everyone else? I mean, we do have to remember he didn't want to fight Joe Joyce when Joe was a force to be reckoned with after beating Parker, and his reason was because Joe didn't have enough social media followers. Fucking brilliant. Can you imagine Usyk saying that? He said he didn't need to fight Anthony Joshua because he's not in the conversation after losing to Usyk, and he could have fought another solid top 10 fighter instead of Ngannou and Chisora, but he didn't. So with all that, I'm just left thinking, well, I do need to see him fight another pucker heavyweight or two that poses a serious threat and beat them in order for him to take that second place crown. But luckily for him, there's plenty out there nowadays since everyone's fighting each other with the help of the double excellent turkey, so let's see him up against, I don't know, Bakoli, the winner of Zhang Kabayel, maybe the loser of Parker Dubious, or maybe, how's about the relatively well-known Brit called AJ? Personally, I'd put Zhang, Parker, Dubious and AJ firmly in the top 8 in the world, and they have all fought each other at one point or another, so it's only fair Fury now joins the party. Of course though, the obvious fight is the one we've always wanted. I know it's a bit sour because it's nowhere near what it was, they both come off losses and there wouldn't be a world title on the line, but fuck it, let's just find out who's the better of them two, because that's essentially all we've ever wanted to know. Bring it on. Anyway, that's that. Hope you had a blinding Christmas, have a cracking fucking New Year, and if you like our shitty little podcast, by the way, we'd be over the moon if you could give us a little vote. Link in the comment section. Cheers people for now. Adios.